Right now, you are looking at this screen. You are certain of what you see. The colors, the shapes, the brightness. It all feels immediate, direct, real. But here's the problem. None of it is. What you are experiencing right now is not the world. It is your brain's best guess about the world. And the gap between those two things is larger, stranger, and more unsettling than almost anyone is prepared to admit. Let's start with light. Your eyes detect electromagnetic radiation in a narrow band of frequencies, roughly 400 to 700 nanometers. That's it. The universe is filled with radio waves, microwaves, infrared radiation, ultraviolet light, X-rays, gamma rays, all of it passing through you right now, all of it completely invisible to you. The reality you can see is less than 0.0035% of the electromagnetic spectrum. You are not seeing the world. You are seeing a thin slice of it, the specific slice your ancestors needed to find food, avoid predators, and recognize faces. Everything else is darkness. But it gets stranger, because even that thin slice, even the light your eyes can detect, you are not seeing directly. Your retina converts light into electrical signals. Those signals travel down the optic nerve to the back of your brain. And then your brain does something that almost nobody thinks about. It throws most of the information away. Your optic nerve carries roughly 1 million nerve fibers, but your retina contains 120 million photoreceptors. That's a compression ratio of 120 to 1. Your brain receives a tiny, fragmented, low-resolution signal, and from that, it constructs the rich, detailed, seamless visual world you think you're seeing right now. It is not receiving the world, it is reconstructing it. And to do that reconstruction, it uses something that should unsettle you deeply. It uses memory. It uses expectation. It uses what it already believes to be true. Neuroscientist Karl Friston at University College London has spent decades developing what is now called the free energy principle, the most comprehensive theory of how the brain works that science has yet produced. His conclusion is both elegant and disturbing. The brain is not a camera. It is a prediction machine. At every moment, your brain is generating a model of what the world should look like based on everything it has experienced before. Then it checks that model against incoming sensory data. And here is the critical part. When the sensory data matches the prediction, which it does most of the time, your brain doesn't update its model. It suppresses the incoming signal. What you experience as seeing is mostly your brain confirming its own predictions, not the world, your brain's model of the world. In 2019, a team at MIT ran an experiment that made this viscerally clear. They showed participants a series of images and asked them to identify what they saw. When images were preceded by a word, like the word apple, participants were significantly more likely to see apple-like shapes in ambiguous images that followed. The word changed what they saw, not what was there, what they saw, because the brain had preloaded an expectation, and that expectation shaped perception more powerfully than the actual image. This is not a quirk. This is how vision always works. You are always seeing partly with your eyes and mostly with your assumptions. But it doesn't stop with vision. Color is not a property of the world. Color is something your brain invents. The objects around you do not have colors. They have surfaces that reflect certain wavelengths of light. Your brain takes those wavelengths and assigns them an experience: red, blue, green, yellow. That assignment is not fixed. It is not universal.
In 2015, a photograph of a dress divided the entire internet. Some people saw it as blue and black. Others saw it as white and gold. Same photograph, same light entering the same type of eyes, different brains making different assumptions about the lighting conditions and producing completely different colors. Neither group was wrong. Neither group was seeing the dress. Both groups were seeing their brain's interpretation of the dress. And here is what that means. The color you are seeing right now, the specific, vivid experience of red or blue or green, does not exist in the world. It exists only inside your skull. The world outside is colorless, soundless, odorless. It is electromagnetic radiation and pressure waves and molecular vibrations. Your brain converts those physical signals into the rich sensory experience you call reality. And that conversion is not neutral. It is not objective. It is shaped by your history, your culture, your expectations, and your fears. In 1999, psychologist Daniel Simons at Harvard ran one of the most famous experiments in the history of psychology. He asked participants to watch a video of people passing a basketball and count the number of passes. In the middle of the video, a person in a gorilla suit walked through the scene, stopped in the center, beat their chest, and walked off. 50% of participants didn't see it. Not because they weren't looking, because their brain had a task, count the passes, and had decided that a gorilla was irrelevant to that task. So it filtered it out. It never reached consciousness. This is not a failure of attention. This is the normal operating condition of your brain. Your brain filters out the majority of what your senses detect. It decides, below the level of your awareness, what is relevant and what isn't. And what makes it through that filter, what you experience as reality, is a tiny, curated, heavily edited version of what's actually there. Right now, as you watch this, your brain is filtering out the feeling of your clothes against your skin, the sound of your own breathing, the slight ache you may have somewhere in your body, the temperature of the air. All of it was there a moment ago. All of it is there right now. You just weren't conscious of it because your brain decided it wasn't important, until I mentioned it. And now you can feel all of it. That's not attention. That's your brain updating its predictions based on new information. So what is actually out there? Physics can tell us. The chair you are sitting on feels solid, but it is almost entirely empty space. The atoms that make up that chair are 99.99% empty. The solidity you feel is not a property of the chair. It is the result of electromagnetic repulsion between the electrons in the chair and the electrons in your body. Your brain interprets that repulsion as hardness, as solidity, as the thing you call a chair. But the chair, as you experience it, does not exist in the world. It exists in your brain. The philosopher Immanuel Kant argued this in 1781. He called the world as it actually is, independent of any observer, the thing in itself. And he argued that we can never directly experience it. All we ever experience is the world as our minds represent it to us. Science has spent 250 years proving him right. So here is the question. If everything you experience is a model, if color, solidity, sound, and space are all constructions your brain generates from fragmented sensory signals, what is actually real? The honest answer is that nobody fully knows. What we do know is this: the model works. It has kept your species alive for 300,000 years. It is accurate enough to navigate a world, build a civilization, and fall in love. But it is not the world. It is a map. And the map, no matter how detailed, is never the territory. You have never seen the real world. Nobody has. What you have seen, what every human being who has ever lived has seen, is the inside of their own mind, shaped by evolution to be useful, not accurate. The real world is out there, pressing against your senses, sending its signals inward. And your brain, doing the only thing it knows how to do, is turning those signals into the only reality you will ever know, the one inside your head.